Blackson in the hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. Oh man, I started the show right on time. There's like these group of bikers, bicyclers, not bikers, but and they're trying to go down a construction road. What's going on, y'all? Y'all see the title, man? The Don's my reaction to the Don statement about Russio. So I'm gonna talk about two things today that just I'm gonna concentrate just on these two topics. Number one, what he said about Russia involvement and uh, Russia's involvement. Hold on. Russia's involvement in World War II and our involvement, and I guess whose role was more important. So, and then also Donald Trump talking about Russia wanting to take over all of Ukraine as opposed to he said, well, no, they don't just want that little strip. They want all of Ukraine. So I will deal with that statement first. When he said Russia doesn't just want that strip of land, they want all of Ukraine. And he was saying that they will have to give up all Ukraine, which is interesting. It's a play of words, you guys. It's a play of words. Donald Trump, that's the New York. Uh, so I wouldn't necessarily disagree with Trump on that. It is a three card Monty. It is a New York slick talk. He's baiting everybody up to get prepared to say, well, at least I got them to not take over all of Russia. They only took over a portion of Russia. We had to negotiate. So that's all that is. He's trying to bait you guys up for the expectations of, well, Russia wanted all of Ukraine. They didn't get all of Ukraine. That's what that is. So it's a New York three card money. Mm, that's what that is. Now, um, now that that's taken care of, like I said, a lot of people were up in arms, like from uh, Colonel Douglas McGregor to who? No, no, Scott Ritter. Oh man, he called Trump all kind of names. He said he's embarrassed to Trump. Trump is stupid. He's a buffoon. Blah blah blah. Yo, Scott Ritter really went in, and I get Scott Ritter going in like that. He got all emotional and but Scott Ritter is an emotional guy. He's very. I hope to have him on my show one of these days, and Colonel Douglas McGregor. Colonel Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter are the most reasonable men who disagree with Trump. Um, and not that I 100% agree with Scott Ritter or Colonel Douglas McGregor, but I don't absolutely 100% disagree with Trump, which I'm going to deal with the second topic. But this topic right here is a three card Monty. And this is why I didn't jump. I paid attention and I watched what Trump was saying. I said, oh, he's doing a New York three card Monty right here. He's baiting people, and it's some New York street shit with what Trump is doing. And so I can't disagree because I know what he's doing with that. However, I'm going to bring y'all with what I disagree with Trump on. I'm coming with that. So, um, yeah, he did the three card money to get everybody prepared because then even the news media they were like, oh, what you wait a minute, you want Russia to give up all the territory, which even she was shocked. The fake stream media, the girl, I forgot from CBS. I don't know her name because I don't care to know her name. But what I'm saying is that they the narrative is that, oh yeah, go Ukraine, Ukraine's going to beat Russia. This has always been the narrative on the left. And so now when Trump's saying no, I don't, no, we want Russia to give up all the land, that shocked her. She's like, what? It shocked the piss out of her. And so Um, Trump is doing a three-card Monty. A three-card Monty, if y'all know, the three cards and they swish them around. You got to guess which one is the queen and switch them around again. That's what Trump is doing. And so um, other people say sandbagging. So whatever street term, sandbagging, three card money, whatever you want to call it, that's what Trump is doing. So I didn't get emotional like Scott Ritter did. Now, when I heard Scott Ritter talk, it wasn't that I disagreed with him. I understood why Scott Ritter called Trump all kind of buffoons and he's embarrassing and that. What really made me understand that Scott Ritter was emotional is then he brought up the fact that there was this meme of Donald Trump saying he wants to be the new pope. Scott Ritter, that's a joke, bro. He's so damn tight, bro. Bro, Scott Ritter, I need to get you on my show, bro. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I get it. I don't know if you're a Catholic, I don't know what the hell, but yeah, you got all bent out of shape about that damn which Trump didn't even make that. He's like, yo, I didn't make that. It was somebody who made a meme of me being the Pope, and yo, people, we expect people on the left to get all pennies all up in the bunch, but Scott Ritter, you were more intelligent than that, brother. You are more seasoned than that. So why are you getting? But I get it. You hang around a lot of lefties, Scott. You hang around a lot of lefties. So and then there's a lot of lefties in the Marine Corps. So I get it. I get it. But man, come on, relax, brother. Relax. Relax. So that's how I knew you were caught up in your emotions. So by me seeing that, it didn't allow me to get caught up like you did. I saw, this brother's emotional. Let me stand back because I was like, what is Trump doing? What is Trump talking about? What the hell is Trump talking about? Now, if y'all remember, I did a show not too long ago. It was somewhere last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I told my moderators to do their homework assignment and to see how can Trump get Zelensky and his wife up out of that situation, away from those Azov fanatical Nazis um, that are holding her under house arrest. So I began to think about that because I said, you know what? I remember when I told my audience about how is Trump going to do this? How is he going to paint this picture and extract them out of there? Keep that in mind. I'm gonna come back to it because that's the key right there to understanding the bigger picture with Donald Trump. Um, Before I go there and come with a resolve for number two, let me get to the second topic, and I'm gonna come back to the first topic because I'm gonna wrap it all up. The second topic, I disagree with Trump on. Now, what Trump is doing is repeating what I've been taught and what a lot of Americans have been taught. Again, like I said, I've told you my research journey that started for me being um, in the Black conscious community. The way we do our research is like in the Black conscious community, and that whether be you Hebrew Israelites or Black Christian nationalists or Black Panthers, whatever it is, we've been taught that the white man is not teaching us the correct history. So we have been trained by your Ida Ben Sertimas, your Yosef Ben Yakinins, your Dr. John Henry Clarks, your Malcolm X's. We have been taught to do research, to go beyond what we have been taught in school. What I've been taught in school and what Trump has been taught in school is that America defeated the Nazis. Now, that's true in a sense, but we didn't march upon Berlin. So you got to ask, well, who marched? You got to ask the question, who marched on Berlin? The reason I brought up the black conscious thing is because it allowed me to do research outside of what I've been taught. And so I carried that over. A lot of black people they do that in the black conscious community, and they be on this whole black power thing, and then they get stuck. What have I done? And well, like I ain't gonna say a lot, but I think I hope a lot of other people have went to that school of thought and then applied it to other things. Me, I've applied it to the Civil War. I've applied it to uh, foreign politics. I've applied it to everything, 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 whether it be science, nutrition, uh, medical health, all that. I've applied it to everything. And so by me and applying it to, by applying it, I have, I have, hold on one second, y'all. Is it Scotch? No, it's MC. I'm an MC today. Not, oh, I ain't got no MC ticket. Fuck. Oh, here we go. MC. All right. All right. I need to, and then I should have two writing pens in here. Yep. Got a writing pen. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I got to set up this morning. Put my ticket down because I'm getting paid by the hour on this contract. So, um, I the second topic I want to bring up is the um, yeah, Ruby Collins. Ruby Collins. The second topic I want to bring up is how Trump is pushing out the narrative again that he believes to be true. He believes to be true that America defeated Germany. And yeah, Russia had a part, but we had the biggest part, which, okay. And today he's celebrating the victory over the Nazis. And tomorrow, Putin's going to be celebrating with the parade, May 9th, which is the original May Day. Trump is changing it to May 8th. Do I agree with Trump on that? Hell no. I don't agree with Trump on that. So, um, I don't agree with Trump on that. And I don't agree with Trump on the history of World War II because he, like myself, like many Americans, have been miseducated on that. That's miseducation. And so, because of the miseducation, um, we tend to roll with that we defeated the Nazis. And we played a significant part, a significant role. Um, we went into the war with Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was finally convinced to go in by the French and the English, Winston Churchill. And so we went in there to liberate our buddies, that being the French and that being the English. Now, the English were being bombed to hell, so we wanted to go in and make sure they weren't being bombed anymore. And from what I've been taught is that we went into the war. Our final straw was when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. And so when they bombed Pearl Harbor, we're like, okay, we got to go to war now. Shit, we might as well go over into damn England and help them out and help out. Now, I will say this, and this is where it gets blurred. We went in and we coordinated with Churchill and Joseph Stalin. We coordinated to battle Hitler. Now, the ones we were on the west, Normandy and all that, we were on the west, Western Europe, and Stalin and his forces were in Eastern Europe. Now, Stalin was closer to Berlin, number one. Number two, Stalin wanted get back because of Stalingrad and I believe Moscow. The Nazis tried to, hey, hit the like button. I see you keep coming in and coming out. Hit the like button, man. What the hell? This is why I don't do YouTube for a living, man. People so like this shit is free. Hit the goddamn like button. Hit the goddamn share. It's free. Damn. See, look at that fuck shit. Okay. Anywho, um, I don't know, man. It's like, man, good thing I don't do this for a living, man. Shit, I'm gonna do YouTube for no living. Mm, rather do what I'm doing now. So, anywho, um, um, see, May 8th. Today is May 8th, and Trump is trying. I mean, I wouldn't even say rewrite history. He's only presenting the history that he has been taught. That's all. And I'm not going to call Trump ignorant, and I'm not going to do all that because Trump is repeating what he's been taught in schools in the American system. Just like I, again, I was kind of naive to this too. You look at all the movies, you look at our educational system, we say, well, damn, we defeated the Nazis. And the statement is half true. It's half true. But the important part that America leaves out, that Trump left out, is that we didn't march on Berlin. Stalin did. And Stalin, by marching on Berlin, pressured Hitler into committing suicide and wiping out the Third Reich, the top generals, and whatever generals didn't suit off themselves had routes to escape. And a lot of them, some of them went to South America, some of them went to America, Canada, some of them went to North Africa. Remember, because there were a lot of North African Nazis, but that's a whole nother video. Um, there's a lot of African Nazis, but that's a whole nother video. But the reason being that I'm bringing this up is because if it wasn't, because Hitler was not going to surrender, but if it wasn't for them marching into Berlin, that pressure that the Third Reich began to panic. Um, there's a book called The Fallen. Y'all read that and you'll understand. And there's also a movie called The Fallen. You'll understand the pressures of when they started hearing the actual artillery hit Berlin. They were like, "Oh shoot, the Reds are coming! Oh, the Reds are coming!" So yeah, that was the panic point. We always talk about turning points for the war. That was the panic point, and the panic point is when the Third Reich started to disperse. They're like, "Oh shoot, the Reds are coming," and so because of Joseph Stalin is one that made sure that the Red Army went in there and planted their flag in Berlin. They planted their flag in Berlin. And so that was, if you understand the significance of them planting the flag, you would have to read a book called Kelly's Heroes. There's also a movie called Kelly's Heroes with Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, uh, Sutherland Sr., Donald, not Donald Sutherland, but his dad, um, Carol O'Connor. It was an all-star cast, but they had a race. They were racing to get because they found out this church was hiding this gold that the Third Reich had possession of, and so it was a race. Well, that's a metaphor of World War II. There was a race to get to Stalin. Like what Trump doesn't understand, and what a lot of people in America don't understand, is that Franklin Roosevelt and Churchill did not know Stalin was going to rush up in Berlin. They were just supposed to have a coordinated effort to kind of box in the Nazis. Stalin kept going, and that's why back in the 90s, 70s, and 60s, 50s, 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, you had the Berlin, you had the Eastern Bloc, and you had the Western Bloc because that was not part of what Churchill or FDR's plan, or even not only FDR, after FDR, Eisenhower, or was it Eisenhower? Or was it Truman? I get my presidents mixed up because it was three presidents. under World War II. FDR. No, Eisenhower came later because he was a general. So Eisenhower came later on. And who FDR was it? Truman after FDR? I'll have to do my research on the orders of the presidents during World War II, but FDR was the first one, of course. And because FDR, you know, because FDR and Churchill, now Churchill was trying to just reconstruct England, man. He was trying to just get the Third Reich off my back, get them off our back, that being England, because they were just bombing the hell out of London and other parts of England. They were bombing, just getting bombed, and like Churchill was like, "Yo, we just need to get them off of our backs." So he was just concerned about getting off our back. He was not really concerned about offensive. He was into the war to assist. Stalin already had plans prior because Stalin, again, remember Hitler marched on tried well he marched well he tried to march on Stalingrad and tried to march on Moscow, and so Stalin wanted instant payback. So he already had this in his mind, which I don't know if he shared that with. I don't recall him sharing that. I'd say again, this is something I would have to go back and research, but I don't recall him. And I've read several of Stalin's books. I don't recall him letting them know. And I think again, it was a surprise to Churchill and FDR that Stalin marched on Berlin. Like that was not somehow they did not communicate that. Again, it was Stalin, FDR, and Churchill, and they would always meet and they meet and they coordinate and they meet and they coordinate and they were coordinating to defeat the Third Reich, but somehow Stalin didn't communicate to them that he was going to march on Berlin. Now, I could be wrong with this information, but I don't recall reading that. I recall reading they had a coordinated effort, but Stalin already had in his mind that he was going to march on Berlin because how dare Hitler march on Stalingrad? How dare he try to march on Moscow? Don't he know about the ice gods? So yeah. So you have offended ice gods. So now we got to come in and march on your territory. And not only did he march on the territory, it was like a rush. Like I said, and when I described Kelly's Heroes, it was like a race. It's almost like the Soviet Union had a time frame when they were going to knock him out, knock out the Third Reich, Hitler and the Third Reich, and they did. And so that victory goes to them because it was unexpected to the Third Reich, it was unexpected to Churchill, and it was unexpected to FDR. May 9th is when Stalin said, "Man, take Berlin." And so somewhere along the line, during the Cold War, after the war, Stalin began to take over more Eastern European countries, and so we became somehow bitter about that. And Trump carries that same bitterness. Somehow America carries that bitterness. It's almost like a jealous, envious thing that Stalin took Berlin. It's like, and then we had tensions with the Nuremberg trials. It's like it was on site, like I've said before, it was on site when it came to the Russians. The Nazis did not want to get caught by the Russians. Heinrich Himmler was in talks with the West, along with a lot of other high ranking generals in the Third Reich. And so their goal was to not get caught by the Nazis because, I'm not saying get caught by the Soviets, by the Red Army, because it was on site, meaning you got caught by them, it was over for you. And so, but if you get caught by the Allies and America, especially America, then you were good. because we were getting people out, out safely, and I want to say it wasn't on site with us. Let me just say that it was a chance that you could go to trial, maybe get a life sentence. Worst case scenario, a lot of them were acquitted. If you rolled over on your other damn generals, and that's where the whole snitching thing started, you would well, I ain't gonna say where it started. People have been snitching since the dawn of time, but what I'm saying is that you know it wasn't on site. When I say on site, y'all from the streets know what I'm talking about. It was on site, meaning on site, pow pow, pow on site, meaning the Red Army took you out on site. We see you on site, that's it for you. So the goal was to get to the Allies. Heinrich Himmler didn't make it. The Red Army caught him instantly. They instantly caught Heinrich Himmler. And so I say that to say all this, all this history, post war, Cold War, up until now, there's this animosity between us and Russia, and it stems from World War II because they were our former allies, and now we mad at it. It's like almost like a divorce. And so um, Trump, who has been taught here in America, just like a lot of us, we understood that America, which we did have a major part in World War II, but Trump is doing exactly what he's been taught to do, was get America to take all of the credit for World War II. And, you know, am I on the wrong side? I believe I'm on the wrong side. I'm on the wrong side. Yes, I am. So, um, but that's okay. I mean, they'll come if they need me. If they need me, they'll come. So I say that to say this, you guys. Um, we've only been taught half truths, and that's including Donald Trump. And so um, I'm starting to learn people in high positions. Um, they have access to certain education, but that education is a lot of it is miseducation. And so I will never get on here and say that Trump is not educated. No, he's very educated. They only know they've been taught and they've been miseducated on the proper history. Russia marched on Berlin. That's a fact. But see, a lot of people here in America tend to have their heart on their sleeve and be emotional when it comes to history and not know how to divorce. See, me being a black American, and I'm not trying to say this don't apply to nobody else, but being in the conscious community, um, and even it can work against you too, being in the black conscious community, being educated, because then you could be so anti-white, anti-America that you push back against it. Me, I'm able to be in the center and not have a dog in the fight either way, and I can look at objectively and apply the facts. Like, let me just say, like the Ukraine Russia war. It's a fact that Russia's winning because they are the one who's gaining ground. And they're the one that's going to maintain ground. Now, I will say this about Trump, though. Trump, they're saying that he's flip floppy, this and that. I think Trump is, again, going back to the first point, the first topic, is that Trump is maneuvering when he says, oh, Russia wants to take all of Ukraine. So obviously, by what Steve Whitaker, who has just been, he's just been sworn in. Good move, yeah. Because yeah, Whitaker is a very wise man. he's a very wise man, and he's very humble, and he's very somber. He's very man, that's the perfect guy you want negotiating. The perfect man you want negotiating. Like he fits that role perfectly. Man. And you got a lot of haters. You got a lot of haters. Colonel Douglas McGregor, you one of them too. A lot of people who are in the DC swamp who's hating on Whitaker because he's able to go negotiate with the Houthis. I guess he's about to go negotiate with Iran, and he's obviously negotiated with Vladimir Putin. And so this man Whitaker, yeah, he's just sworn in this week. And I just, oh man, that guy is like, man, you ain't gonna get no better negotiator than him. You're not gonna get no better negotiator than this man because he is not corrupted by the swamp. He is not corrupted by the swamp at all, one bit, one iota. And so, um, let me say this. Let me say this, you guys. Let me say this. I get on here and I don't rush because I don't want to end up like I don't want to end up like Scott Ritter being all emotional and getting all bent out of shape. But I think he was already hanging around people who were bent out of shape about Trump, and so I would believe I was watching Judge Napolitano's show, and he just went in. Oh, Trump is a buffoon. Oh, he's embarrassing. Oh, blah 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 blah. And I understood clearly why he did that, but again, when you allow yourself to get that emotional, I wouldn't allow myself. Like I felt what he was saying, and I felt the emotion of what he was saying, and I said I can't allow myself to fall into that. I got to be able to analyze this correctly. And so when I began to watch when Trump kept saying that, he kept saying, "Oh, Russia wants all of Ukraine. What you want?" And I was just like, "Hmm, I think I know what Trump is doing, but I'm gonna just I'm gonna sit back and analyze this and let all my emotions, let all that Scott Ritter emotions, I'm gonna let that lead me because I gotta analyze this very slowly because up to this point, man, Trump has been making moves that's very methodical and very well thought out, and so I can't allow myself to become like Scott Ritter and be so emotional, be like, oh, well, Trump is an idiot, he's stupid, this is blah 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 blah. I can't allow that, and so I'm glad I waited when I did, is because now I'm able to see a clearer picture, and I keep analyzing. I can analyze what he's saying very clearly and very methodically, and understand that Trump is maneuvering. Because remember, Mr. Whitaker is talking to Putin, and he's written down. They've made Sergei Lavrov, Putin have made themselves constantly clear. Now, again, the denazification, they don't want no militarization in Ukraine, obviously. So this thing is going to take some time to. I mean, Russia's going. I mean, I guess they're going to force Russia's hand to just do a clear, decisive defeat on the battlefield because Zelensky doesn't see it, NATO doesn't see it, and a lot of people, the swamp here in America, don't see the clear victories, the clear thrashing, the clear ass whooping that Russia's giving to Ukraine. They don't quite see it. And so what is going to have to be undeniable is a clear, decisive victory in Ukraine. Russia's going to have to give a clear, decisive victory, which I mean, I thought when you occupy land and obtain that land, I thought that was a clear victory. But apparently, we're living in a new age where you have to just utterly do the ass whooping. You just literally got to kick them in the booty. You got to literally kick their behind while they're on the ground While they're unconscious, you got to kick them while they're unconscious to, oh yeah, you've clearly won that fight. Like we've gotten to that point. It's no longer just knocking a person out and then falling down. You got to knock them down, fall down, then you got to kick them in their butt. Like put your foot right up there. You got to literally do that for people to say, "Oh, he won the fight." It's gotten to that point. It's no longer, you know, just pushing a person down and standing over and yeah, stay down. No, you got to knock them out. You got to knock their teeth out. You got to pick them up, wake them up, and knock them out again. Then you got to damn throw them on the curb, and you got to just kick them in the rear end for people to say, "Oh, he won the fight." So I'm guessing these people who are, oh, Ukraine's winning. I guess they got to see. They're not seeing the bodies that Trump's talking about. They're not seeing the carnage. They're not seeing all that. But they got to see to where Russia rose up in Kiev, and they literally got to take the head of goddamn Zelensky and do this, and for the people, oh, Trump won, because I think they want to see that much carnage. They want to see that much blood. They want to see Zelensky's head in order to say, oh, Russia won. See, as long as Zelensky's going around saying, I need money, 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 Russia bad, Putin bad, I need money, 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 then we can't, for some reason, our mentality, we can't call it victory. So Putin has to literally go in there and dismantle Zelensky and dismember Zelensky and parade his body parts, and the Azovs parade their body parts, and they, oh, Russia won! Oh, Russia won! So yeah, I think deep down inside America, deep down inside Europe, deep down inside, these people want to see Zelensky paraded around and the Azovs paraded around with their dismembered body parts in order to say, oh, Putin won the war, oh, he won. Because if we don't see that, if they don't see it, because I'm in disagreement. I think that Russia won the war, but they have to see, like, they have to shut Zelensky's eyes. Oh, Putin won the war. But as long as Zelensky's around here talking shit, as long as goddamn Macron is patting Zelensky on the back, we're not gonna call victory for Russia. So there's two different perspectives here, and then being, I'm glad that Trump has Witkoff going over there talking to Putin, because even Trump is getting caught up, and I don't know if he's trying to appease the hawks on the left, appease the swamp creatures, appease the fake stream media, all these people, and they're saying there's people in Trump's cabinet that are hawks. They're saying Marco Rubio is a hawk. You know, um, the guy that just got fired, his name because he's insignificant to me. He got fired. He leaked all that stuff. He's a buffoon. So it doesn't. I apologize to y'all, but I'm not going to waste the energy learning this man's name, who got fired from, or he got demoted to another position, whatever. But what I'm saying is that Marco Rubio, they're suspecting, and whoever else in his cabinet, um, that they are pushing for war with not only Russia, but with Iran. And yeah, real quick, and I wasn't going to really discuss. I do want to talk on it real quick before I go. So I've discussed number one, what Trump said about Russia taking all of Ukraine. It's a three-card money. Number two, Trump is not incorrect with his passion, because he's been miseducated. And you can be miseducated in our top notch universities. you can be miseducated. And I think that miseducation continues. It's just miseducation to the far left. I have a niece. If y'all know Rubaker, she has a master's. And she doesn't know that there are two genders. Like they taught her in all the years she went to college that there's multiple genders. Like, what the hell? You went to school and paid all that money and miseducation. I understand it because firsthand, who has a master's has been miseducated. Like she can't tell you nothing about no politics, but she can tell you everything about them being multiple genders and multiple, like how did you go to college and not learn the basic science? XX and XY chromosomes. It's simple. This is what every mammal, well, yeah, every mammal. I'm not going to even say other species of life forms or sentient beings, but mammals, you either got XX, which is the female, and XY, which is the male. This is not only in humans, but that's why I say mammals. Whales, dolphins, dogs, cats, possums, raccoons, squirrels, rabbits, deers. These are all mammals that either have XX or XY chromosomes. And we know that XX and XYs, and sometimes people might say, what about hermaphrodites? Hermaphrodites are women, XX. But we're not going to get into that conversation. This is not the video for that. I'm going to say that for another. Thank y'all for the likes. I'm going to say that for another video, for another day, because we're not here to talk about that. But the point I'm making is that the last point I want to make, see how I got distracted? I want to speak on, I want to take the last 20 minutes of this video to speak on India and Pakistan. Oh gosh. India and Pakistan are both our allies. India and Pakistan are have been bitter enemies. India and Pakistan to me are like brothers. It's just like Ukraine and Russia. They're brothers. India is more liberal, whereas Pakistan is more conservative because they have a more of an all Muslim population. Whereas, so I think they're a little bit more hardcore with their politics. But apparently, Pakistan and India can't get along because this feud they've been going back for the last 100 years. I want to say 100 years. I'm 50. I know at least 60 years. They've been having conflict back and forth, back and forth. So this is nothing new. Um, this is a new war that just hot war that just shot out. What I do understand is that the Indian population they have multiple religions. They got Hindu, Christian, Muslim. Pakistan is more strict. They're more just Muslim. They might have minorities, but the Islamic community dominates, whereas the Hindu, even though they dominate, but they do are accepting of the different Christians and Muslims and so you have obviously two different sides of the same culture, just like here in America. We got the far right, we got the far left. Well, Pakistan, I would say, is a theocratic right, and India would be more left centrist in the center, but like slightly liberal. So even though I would say when I look at Pakistan and India, just like with Ukraine and Russia, I'm like, those are the same people, but there's a slight variation in the thoughts. And I can say that with confidence because we got it here in America. We got people who are clearly to the far left, and we got people who are to the right, and we got even Republicans. We got Republicans and we got MAGA. And this is hard to explain to a person on the left because they look at it as, oh, you're all Republicans. And it's like people are not paying attention to how the Republicans are, the rhinos are against Trump, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, real quick, like I said, we now have the situation with India and Pakistan, hot war. Both have nuclear weapons, and they both, both are allies. So uh, I would hate to say this, but that's going to have to be decided on the battlefield. Also, it is what it is, right? All right, y'all. That's my take on Pakistan. So that's a little bonus for everybody. Pakistan, the Paki, Indo-Paki war. Like I said, they've been fighting for a long time, and it's because they're the same culture but on opposite ends. And when you got the same culture on opposite ends, you have extremes on both sides, and they're trying to dominate. And it's just, yeah, you get people who are extreme, and especially when it's in the same culture, they're trying to dominate that culture. And when they're trying to dominate that culture, it can get pretty bloody and brutal. And so that's what you're having, with, um, and you can almost say that with Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine and Russia, again, it goes back to World War II. The Russians are the ones who defeated uh, Adolf Hitler, but at the same time, the Banderas are the ones that fought against Russian aggression. Now, Ukraine and Poland got it from both ends, from the Third Reich and from Stalin. And so both sides were brutal, but according to Poland, according to Ukraine, the Banderas people, Stalin was more brutal than the Third Reich, according to them. And this is why a lot of them, they got the Azovs now and the Kraken and all this. And this is why they're pushing Banderas, because Banderas were like, we're going to join the Third Reich because Stalin is horrible. And so I can see where that passion comes from. But, you know, having a Russian descendant be to prop up Banderas and the Third Reich is kind of an oxymoron, but I get it because Stalin starved the people of Ukraine. I mean, starved the hell out of them. So again, in their eyes, Stalin was more brutal than Hitler was. And I was going to debate this one time, who was more brutal, Stalin or Hitler, but it just depends on what area. Like I said, the two countries that can testify most is Poland and Ukraine because they got it from both ends. But again, according to Ukraine, Stalin was more brutal because Stalin starved them out. So that's the situation with that, and this is why passions are so high in Ukraine. And I don't know this. I'm gonna do more research on the India Pakistan situation because again, they're both our allies and they've both been fighting for years. I'm gonna look into it because I hate to say it, even with my prejudice, when I go into a store, I can't tell a Pakistani. I can't tell the difference between a Pakistani and an Indian. But if you goddamn mistaken, oh, they're gonna curse you out. I'm not dang Pakistani. I'm Indian, or Indian. I'm not Indian. I'm Pakistani. They will let you know here in America because a lot of them have stores, Pakistanis and Indians. And again, um, there's a lot of people here, not only myself, America, that can't tell them apart. But you got some that own damn convenience stores, and you got some Indians. Now, even the store I go to the gas up when I go this evening, I'm like, are they Pakistani or are they Indians? I can't tell them apart because you know why? Because they're the same people. They're the same people with different ideologies. It's just like saying the Japanese and Chinese are the same people. The Koreans and Japanese are the same people. They're just split off at a certain point and develop different nations with different cultures, but they're Chinese and Japanese are the same people. Ukrainians and Russians are the same people. The Pakistanis and Indians are the same people. But don't tell them that. Yeah, I remember when I even my bank teller. She's from Ukraine, and a good thing I got it right. I had to stop myself based on past experience. I have mistaken Ukrainians for being Russian because I didn't know about Ukrainians. In fact, in the field I am, I met. This is when I first started. When I first got my truck, I ran into some Ukrainian truck drivers, and they let me know, man, I'm not. Are you guys Russian? No, we're not Russian. We're Ukrainian. I said, oh, okay. I learned this years ago. So when I finally met the bank teller, I knew right away. I said, oh, she's Ukrainian. When I listened to her, first thing I said, oh, she's Russian. But I stopped myself because of the experience in the past with the other truck drivers I met. They're Ukrainian. I said, oh yeah, she's Ukrainian. I can tell 'cause she has a certain uh, Ukrainians and Russians have different demeanors. That's all I can say. They have the same accent, but their demeanor's different. It's hard to explain. The Russians are more laid back. They're a little bit more street. The Ukrainians are a little bit more uppity. Get mad at me if you want, but I'm just giving you my perspective. This is the best way I could describe it. Is that the Ukrainians, their whole demeanor is a little bit more uppity. They're a little bit more snooty, even though those truck drivers, when you look at them, you're not saying they're uppity and snooty, but compared to Russians are more laid back and more, the way they speak. It's more, I don't know, it's just like a more streetsy feel. When I meet Russians, they have more streetsy feel to them. When I meet Ukrainians, they're more seem more uppity. That's the only way I could describe it. That they seem more snooty. I'm just keeping it 100. Ukrainians seem more snooty. The Russians seem more laid back and more street. Now, both of them can be obnoxious in their own little way, but and I'm just going based on what my sister said. But when I meet people, I don't look at. Uh, I try to look at the best of people. My sister's complete opposite. She always looks at the worst of people. So, uh oh. Good morning, Black Sun. Good morning, y'all. Oh, Conspiracy Queen, what's going on? Since I ain't seen you in a while. I hope my battery just went low, so I hope everything's okay with my sound. Um, it looks like they're cranking up the backhoe and excavators, so they haven't came to the truck yet. So, but what I will do, y'all, um, Conspiracy Queen, thank you for the likes. Again, let me just wrap up what I was talking about. Number one, when Trump said, "Oh, Russia wants to take all of Ukraine," Trump knows because I'm not sure Whitaker gave Trump verbatim what Putin said, what goddamn Sergei Lavrov said. So, oh shit, okay. Oh, Pico, what's going on, man? I didn't see you. This whole thing is trippy. She said this whole thing is trippy. Um, Conspiracy Queen says all these events will find their way in on our turf. Interesting, interesting. We gotta. Well, I like global civil wars. I like global civil wars on all soil, turf, like the global civil wars on all soil. Um, Conspiracy Queen, are you saying that we are going to face another civil war? And I wouldn't disagree with you. I would say after the Trump, you know what? I wouldn't disagree with you. Um, I wouldn't disagree with you. I would not disagree with what you're saying. Oh, he's loaded. He's got some 34s. He's got 34s on his back. If y'all hear that beep beep beep, yeah, that's truck just pulled up. So I'm definitely in the right spot. Definitely in the right spot. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys came here. I don't know what time it is now. I hear another truck coming. They're a great Muslim sheikh, Ayman Hossein, that's been right about everything so far. Okay, okay. Muslim sheikh Ayman Hossein. Okay, I'm assuming Queen that's another YouTube channel. I would love to meet this person. He predicted the rupee crashing, our fiat crashing. Oh, okay. I think everybody predicted that though. The dollar falling. I mean, when BRICS came along, I knew that was, I knew the dollar, the fiat, the dollar was heading toward a crash under Biden. When Biden damn did away with the subsidies or state that on Gideon. So conspiracy. I don't, I don't, I didn't doubt that for one minute. But the thing is now, will Trump be able to recoup the American dollar? That's what I'm looking at now. Will he be, with the tariffs and all that, will he be able to recoup? I think so. I think so, man. China, we're all at a reset. China, U.S., well, I won't even say Saudi Arabia, Europe, Russia. Europe is going to start with Russia again with their cheap because they want that cheap energy. Um, oh gosh, oh, sorry, man, that pollen. Um, we're on at a great reset. I don't think there's going to be this destruction of America. If anybody says destruction of America, I take that with a grain of salt. Um, we've survived the Civil War. We've survived the Great Depression, Conspiracy Queen. We've survived cannibalism. Anytime you have movies about vampires, vampires is the glorification or romanization of cannibalism. That's all that is. So conspiracy tweets that I heard that there are trillions going to bunkers. For context, a billion second, 11 days, billions, 34 trillions a year. Okay, yeah, the fallout shelters. Yeah, yeah, we've had those since the 50s and 60s. So that's not, and there's always been, oh, it's going to be the end of war. Oh, there's going to be nuclear catastrophe. Okay, but we don't never talk about how we went through cannibalism in this country during the Great Depression. We've had several times where we actually went through cannibalism and we came out fine. But when we talk about these great wars and all that, and these conspiracies, but we don't actually take part in the actual history that actually happened and how we glorify them now through vampire movies. When they talk about vampires, they're talking about cannibalism. Cannibalism. That's a vampires are a sexy way of trying to expose our cannibalistic history. When I say our, I'm not the whole world. So conspiracy queen, yeah, I mean, yeah, the fall, the currency and all that. I hear all that. Russia ate their neighbors' children during World War I, and we ate our neighbors during the Great Depression. We ate our neighbors during the original colonies, the 13 original colonies. We ate our fellow neighbors and fellow soldiers during the Civil War. See, we talk about everybody else's cannibalism. We don't talk about our own. And then years later, we try to glorify it with this whole vampire. Oh, vampires are sexy. There's a movie that black people are all up in arms about, especially black Christians, a movie called Sinners. Sinners is about during the Mississippi blues era, and it's supposed to be vampires. Oh, so you guys are saying we're cannibalizing each other during the rhythm and blues era. Is that what you're saying? This is what you're coming out with now? Because now they're talking about, oh, Mississippi and Biloxi and New Orleans and all that. Oh, so there was cannibalism there too. Okay, all right. Because we know there was cannibalism during the Great Depression, and we know there was cannibalism during the Civil War, 13 original colonies during the Indian Wars. So we know there was cannibalism going on. So let it all come out. Because oh, Stalin, and he had Cannibal Island. Yeah, okay. But we had Cannibal Island here too. We had a bunch of Cannibal Islands here in the States. Let's talk about it. Just during the Great Depression. Let's talk about it. So yeah, during the time of the Great Strife, we are on the precipice of something that's been set in motion for centuries. I mean, we've gone through it, conspiracy queen. It's just that we try to cover it up, our past, and we don't want to talk about it. But it's no great, I mean, they push a lot of crazy stuff. That movie, Great Love Society, right, yeah, well, yeah. We've been doing cannibalism, and like I said, we've been glorifying it through the damn vampire movies. The bite on the neck, oh, and suck your blood. That's cannibalism. That's cannibalism. So yeah, we can't point fingers at Stalin and Mao Zedong and Che Guevara. We can't point fingers at all these other Edie Amin, Edie Amin. We can't point fingers when we did it right here in America, and we have remnants of people that Ed Gein, John Wayne Gacy. Don't let me go down the list of goddamn Ted Bundy. What's the boy Jeffrey Dahmer? Let's not, yeah. And see people like, oh, those are cases of serial killers. They Mr. John Wayne Gacy was a Democrat and he went to the high ranking parties. That's why they had to get rid of him. So you don't, because he was Epstein before there was Epstein. He was P. Diddy before there was P. Diddy. John Wayne Gacy. I did a video on that, y'all. Okay, I think they're getting started. All right, y'all, let me give a shout out because they're getting started. Shout out to Conspiracy Queen. We are still cannibalizing our own, be it with healthcare, okay. Shout out to Fox. Shout out to Conspiracy Queen. Shout out to Pico. People, go about see you over in the live Black Metal Productions. I'll see you over there. And with that being said, yeah, because they're getting started, y'all. So let me get going. I'll come up with another video because there's big news about to happen today. With that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace. I'm out.